Hey there guys, welcome back to another episode of Misplaced Garage. Today, I'm going to be taking you guys through how I winterize my personal vehicles. If you're like me, you have to store some vehicles outside, which this will also pertain to storing vehicles inside, but I don't have a huge garage. I have about a one-car garage, so I only can work on one car at a time. So I store a couple outside. I'll show you guys that. To start, use one of these. This is damp rid. If your environment gets wet at all, this will save you a lot of time, money, and effort. Basically what it does is it's a little catch system for water. You have these little crystallized things. I don't know what the exact terminology is for it, but I know it works. I buy the big thing because I store a few cars. So I've got about 2 years of use out of this stuff, and this is how much this is how much I have left, but this stuff works great. You put it in the top of this little cup deal, and it collects water down at the bottom. If you can see that, there's water in the bottom of this, so it is doing its exact job, what I need it to do. So you take this damp rid, and all you do is put it down there in your footwell. Something kind of like that. That will collect any water that gets in this interior at all. Branching off, having this in your interior, if your interior has a bunch of like little cubbies and stuff, you can open those up. Just don't open the ones that have lights, because if you open the ones that have lights, your battery will die, and you don't want that, obviously. But let's say your back seat is kind of like this, where you can open these rear ones and then you can get to your trunk. Open this, because that damp rid is going to be collecting the water that can possibly come in through there, through your trunk seals. So leave both of these open while you're storing it. And my number 2 is going to be under the hood. And no, it's not change your oil before you store it. It's not change your coolant before you store it, which yes, you should make sure you have good coolant in your car, but that's besides the fact, most people do. But it comes down to the battery. So, your battery health is very important, because once your battery goes dead one time, your battery is never the same again. At least in my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But these little battery maintainers are cheap, and they save you a whole lot of money. I think this one was like $25. I got it wet, so it doesn't work as well, but it still works. This is a brand new one. Basically the same thing as this one. All you do is you take one end of it, plug this into the wall. Super easy. Now that you have one side plugged into the wall, you take these, and these just clip onto your battery terminals. Don't be worried about sparks or anything, because it won't spark. And in this case, my battery is actually charging, so it is down a little bit. You have to get the one that says the maintain or a maintainer, because if you get one that just says charger, that's not the one that you want. The maintainer is the most important part of this whole process. What it's doing right now is it's actually charging the battery up. Once the battery charges, it turns green, and the battery is charged. It then lets the battery come down off of that charge, and then it'll charge it back up. It keeps this because a battery is designed to fluctuate a little bit. That keeps the battery healthy, and when you go in the springtime to go start up your vehicle, it won't be dead. You can leave these plugged in all the time, because it's designed to be left plugged in to your vehicle. Let's start number 3. This one's kind of controversial. Some people might agree with me, some people might disagree with me. Comment down below your thoughts. Anyways, this would be a car cover. If you're storing your vehicle indoors, an indoor car cover is a really good thing to get. Those outdoor ones, in my opinion, are gimmicks. Because, say you have water come down and it kind of pools up on it. Those car covers are not 100% waterproof. Eventually they will leak through, and then you will have water trapped below the car cover. Then you have water trapped below the car cover, and it's not going to evaporate and go up. It's going to stay under there, create mold, create problems. It's going to destroy things. Once you have water under there, say you get a little bit of dirt under there, unfortunately. You then have that whole mixture with a little bit of wind. That car cover is literally just moving across your paint like sandpaper, and it will just destroy your paint. But that's my opinion on car covers. If you are storing it indoors, great. Put a small one on and leave it at that. If you're storing it outdoors, just let the damper do its work. It will absorb any moisture and anything that gets into the cabin. Now the next thing. My gas cap's on the wrong side of the car, so it might be different for you guys, but this is very important. Make sure you have the freshest possible fuel before you put it away for winter. I mean by that, make sure you have literally just fueled up before you park it. The reason for that is gasoline, ethanol itself, absorbs moisture. Moisture in a gas tank is not good. And if your car requires premium, I really recommend putting ethanol-free premium in it. I put ethanol-free premium in this because it keeps everything as it should be. Ethanol-free is just far better for your vehicle. It is a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it if you're leaving it over the winter, because ethanol-free gas stays stable over the winter. I think it'll last like somewhere between like 6 months and a year, where regular fuel, leaded fuel, or not leaded, but ethanol fuel, probably lasts 3 months at most. So ethanol free is much better. So when you go to start your car, it's not going to be misfiring, having problems, and you have to drain the gas tank. But I highly recommend the freshest possible fuel you can get into your gas tank. If you have a little bit fuel left over, go drive it and then fill it up, so then you have maximum amount of fresh fuel, and you want to store it full. This is extremely important for you guys that have nice tires on your vehicles. Say you have a 200 treadwear track tire on your vehicle. You don't want that getting frozen and being below 32 degrees, because the compound will harden up and it will no longer grip as well as it once did. So you actually want to swap it out for a crappy tire. This tire is actually dry rotted, but it holds air. You want to take these wheels off and store them somewhere where it doesn't completely freeze. I personally store them in my basement because I can just get them out of the way and they'll stay like 50 degrees, somewhere around there. And that will keep the compound a lot softer, and you'll get many more years out of your tires. And that is kind of a generalized list of how I store my vehicles, my personal vehicles, over the winter. I've been doing this for about 4 years, having multiple vehicles stored outside, and it has been working wonders. I no longer have mold in my interior. I no longer have scratches all over my vehicles, and it just usually turns out pretty darn good. If you liked the video and you found it helpful or you found it enjoyable, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I will see you in the next one.